Hey there, this is Miss Caitlin from Fibo Kids Art Academy, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Around the World series, where we visit the 7 continents of the world. Right now, we are visiting the continent of Antarctica, learning about the wildlife, the breathtaking landscapes, and some of the research bases on the continent. Now, usually in our Around the World series, we will travel all over the globe and learn about different countries with the cultures, animals, and landmarks that are within them. But Antarctica doesn't have any countries, so that's why we're going to learn a little bit about the landscape and the wildlife instead. Now, for our little example project today, just to give you a taste of how things might usually go in an around the world class, I've prepared for you a project of the Penguin Post Office in the Antarctic Peninsula. So let me go ahead and show you my table and we can get started. So I'm going to show you how to draw this picture today with you. I'm not going to do all the coloring steps, but I will give you some instruction about how to make the coloring steps easy for yourself. I did this picture with markers and watercolor. I also used some permanent markers like Sharpie in some of the more delicate areas, as well as some permanent blue marker to outline the mountains and some of the icy rocks down here. Now you're also going to need some watercolor just to fill in and create kind of those very lovely textures that we see on the stone. You can also use watercolor to fill in the research station here, as well as the penguins down below. Now, our picture today shows penguins mailing off letters, but this is kind of some creative freedom we're going to have today because it's fun to think about penguins mailing off letters. But in reality, the Penguin Post Office really just means it's a research base, rather a British research base, where a lot of penguins will come to this area in the summertime. So it's called the Penguin Post Office because they have a post office inside and penguins just are usually around. People are usually the ones mailing the letters. All right, so for the picture, you're gonna need a piece of watercolor paper or something that can handle lots of watercolor on it. You're also gonna need a pencil and eraser to draw today. Now I'm gonna be using a Sharpie to draw just so that you can see my pencil lines so you can follow along a little bit easier. Now I'll try to keep our picture today, our example, kind of off on the side, adjusting it as we need in order to draw these different areas. We're gonna start on the bottom with our little penguins that seem to have gotten their hands on some letters that were supposed to be mailed out. Who knows how they got them? So go ahead and take your pencil, turn your paper so that it is vertical, standing tall up and down like so, and let's go ahead and draw the penguins. Now these penguins are very special. They are called Gentoo penguins, and they usually hang around this area of the base. Now this area is also known as Port Lockroy. So the Penguin Post Office is located here. All right, so for the penguins, they're gonna be right here in the foreground today. And we're gonna start with a basic shape for the head, which is just a circle. So you're gonna draw 2 circles for these mischievous little penguins that have gotten a hold of some mail that was supposed to be sent out. Next, you can draw their beaks. You're just gonna draw a diagonal line out and back in, diagonal line out and back in. Our penguins are kind of looking triumphantly upward like, yes, I got a piece of mail to send out, but really, I think they may have just stolen somebody's mail to send it back as well. All right, let's go ahead and draw their bodies. Penguin bodies are pretty easy to draw. You're just gonna start underneath the head, draw a curved line down, curved line down, curved line down, and curved line down. Now you do get to erase some things. I'll go ahead and just highlight those with a marker so that you can see. I can't erase because I've used Sharpie, but you're using a pencil so you can. You're gonna erase these leftover lines from the circle because we don't really need those anymore. They're just gonna get in the way and we don't want them there. Next, we can draw their wings. Now, penguin wings are very special. They look very similar to flippers because penguins do a lot more swimming than they do flying. So for this penguin over here, his wings are kind of out one way and the other one is sticking up, holding that piece of mail. So you're just gonna draw a big curved line and a big curved line. Now any part of the wing that you can see the body through, you're gonna erase that line of the body because you don't need it anymore. And then this penguin is kind of very carefully holding the mail. It's very precious. You're just gonna draw a curved line on the side, like so, like a sideways U shape. And again, any part of that body that's showing through, you're gonna erase. Again, Gentoo penguins, they have a special sort of pattern on them. They have these white patterns kind of on the tops of their eyes going up. So let's go ahead and draw a circle for the eye for each of them. You're going to draw a curved line up, curved line up, curved line up, curved line up. Their beaks also have a little bit of a pattern to them. Their whole beak isn't orange, it's just kind of got some orange on it. So you're going to go to your beak, you're going to draw a sideways V and a sideways V. Now for their wings, you'll notice that if you look at a picture of these penguins in real life, the sides of their wings have a bit of a stripe of white. So you can draw in just a little stripe of white on the bottom of their wings. You don't have to do it on this wing because this one shows the inside of the wing, which is all white anyway. As for their bellies, you're just going to draw a big curved line and a big curved line hopping over that wing. And now we can draw the male that they're holding. So these little guys, they're probably postcards that they have. This location is a popular destination for cruises because you can take cruises to Antarctica. So you can draw a little piece of mail. So people will usually send postcards out. It may not go out the same day, but it'll eventually go out because, again, Antarctica doesn't really have a lot of people on it. The only people that are there are people at the research bases or people who are just visiting and then leaving because Antarctica is really cold. All right, so there we have our penguins. Let's go ahead and draw this really big rock that is in front of our station here. So we're going to go ahead and start from the bottom. We're going to draw just a wavy line, hopping over our penguins and any details we've added here. You're going to move up and draw a big wavy line here. Now, to draw this outpost, this British outpost, there's a bit of perspective going on, so just try your best to draw it. But we're going to begin by drawing some basic shapes, just the kind of top and bottom so that we can get in the right spots here. So for the bottom of the station, it's going to be pretty easy. It is just a straight line, but it's a little tiny bit diagonal. So when you go to draw this, you're going to start from one side of your paper. You're going to hop over the rock. You're just going to continue that line all the way over to the other side. If you want to use a ruler to make this part easier for you, you can. All right, next we're going to start drawing in some of the different just features of this building. So this building has like a really cool looking roof, I think. Let's go ahead and start from our left side. You're going to draw a straight line. You're going to draw a mountain shape and then another mountain shape. So that'll be for this part of the roof. Then we have another roof that comes out over here. This part is a little bit separated from the rest of this part. So you can draw just a diagonal line and then two lines over to the side of your paper, like so. You'll also notice this roof that's pretty jagged on the top. It's a little bit thick. And it's really cool because it has that red. So you're just going to copy that line one more time on top. All right. Next, we're going to go ahead and draw in some of those details. Let's work on this area. Now, we're going to draw just a straight line down from the bottom of the roof here. And then we need to draw in 4 windows. You can draw 2 lines down and then a line to connect. Now, the tricky part about this, you guys, is because, again, this is a little bit in perspective. You don't want these lines to be perfectly straight. You kind of want, if you notice, it's a little bit slanted. It's not perfectly horizontal. So you want it to be just a little bit slanted when you draw that bottom part of the window, almost like you're copying the diagonal line from the bottom of the building. Then you can add in the sills of the window. Just try your best. Again, you can always pause the video, adjust, erase, make things the way that you want. All right. And then we have some little pipes that come off the top here. For that, you just draw a curved line up, around, down. Curved line up, around, down. Okay. Now let's work on this area. We've got a lot more detail over on this side because that's where the door is. So let's actually work on the door right now. You're going to draw a straight line and a straight line down. For the door, it's just a big rectangle. You can see it has this white trim along the sides. And then we have some windows that you can see into the outpost. Now there's only a few people manning this station at a time. And really their job is to observe, the weather conditions here, to man the shop. There's a museum inside. As well, they help welcome guests. They can welcome penguins or people who come to visit. There's a little sign on the door right here, so we're just going to draw a teeny tiny little rectangle. And then there's some signage off on the side here. It's way too small for us to see the actual words, so you can just draw the 3 rectangles in these spots. You don't need to worry about trying to write in microscopic words today on your picture. We've got 3 square windows, so you're going to draw 3 of those square windows. Try and separate them out as best as you can. All right. And then we have this railing here. So you might have to draw a bit of that ramp if you've got some room, but you're going to draw basically a diagonal line and 4 poles. So you're going to draw a diagonal line, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 of the poles. If you have any parts of the station that kind of go through the poles or the ramp railing, you need to make sure you erase those. And then we have like another vent at the top here, probably to release, extra heat, temperature control. So that's just going to be a rectangle, 2 lines, a little half circle. Now, because of the way that we're viewing the station, we can actually see some of those Antarctic Peninsula mountains. These are really similar to the Andes Mountains that actually come from South America. A lot of people think these are the continuation of those because the Antarctic Peninsula, if you just go a little bit farther south of South America, you run into this really glorious mountain range. They're absolutely stunning. It's actually only 700 miles south of the southernmost part of South America. And then guess what? That's the completed drawing. Now, if you want to be fancy about it, you can write in at the top Penguin Post Office. You can almost make this look like its own postcard. I'm going to go ahead and do that because that's what you can do from this station here is send out those postcards. Now, a lot of the Gentoo penguins actually are from this area, like literally next to the post office, because this area is used as a breeding grounds for them. They return in the summer. And so when you visit, which is when most people go to visit Antarctica is in the summer. Whoa, I-N, post office. You can write it in cursive, you can write it in print, whatever kind of type is going to suit your fancy. All right, so that is the completed picture. You can draw in some very light lines if you want to add in those clouds at the top, but let me show you a version of this without all of these eraser lines, just so that you can see what's closer to what maybe you have on your paper. All right, so yours is all done in pencil, of course, but I've drawn this in Sharpie just so that you can see. Now what you can do is you can use your different materials to fill this in with watercolor and marker. My recommendation is you use your marker first and only really add it into the smaller areas that you know aren't going to really be touching the watercolor. If your if your markers are water soluble, that means that they blend away when they get water on them. I would recommend you being very careful as you go to add in your watercolor. If they are permanent markers, then you don't really have to worry about that today. All right, I hope you had fun learning a little bit about the Penguin Post Office today and taking a little sneak peek trip to the Antarctic Peninsula. If you're interested in more detailed around the world classes where I go through all of the drawing and all of the coloring steps along with you, you can check out our website at fibokidsartacademy.com. I hope to see you there, and bye for now, everyone.